emotions. From fatigue and the feeling of helplessness, the conversation about mental health can no longer be silenced. I'm Angelique Lazo, and this is In Person. To give us a deeper understanding of the mental health of Filipinos, especially in this time of disasters and so many social challenges, we are joined in person by Dr. Noel Reyes, the Medical Chief of the National Center for Mental Health. Good evening, Dr. Reyes, and welcome to our program.
Good evening, Angelique.
Yes po. Let's talk about the disasters first. Ano po? Sa dami po kasi ng sunod-sunod na kalamidad na tumama po sa ating bansa. May bagyo, lindol, at ito pa yung banta ng sinasabi nilang the big one. Eh marami po mga kababayan natin nakakaranas na ng fatigue, no? Yung disaster fatigue. At meron din po yung tinatawag na anticipation anxiety. How does the NCMH define these mental states? And how do ordinary Filipinos recognize early warning signs of these conditions?
Stress and anxiety, no? Sa Tagalog, pagkabahala o pagkabalisa, ano? Ito yung na-experience ng individuals, right? Before, during, and after a disaster, no, and it manifests as fear, no. It can be irrational fear, can be rational fear, no. Uncertainty kasi wala silang control when and where it will happen, and of course yung emotional distress, no. It's a psychological response, no, actually to the threat due to the uncertainty or unpredictability of the circumstance, no. Kaya sinasalubong ng katawan ng tao na stress, pagkabahala, no, worry, no, and if it goes on unchecked, of course makakaapekto na to sa everyday functioning niya, which warrants already some form of diagnosis. Yeah.
So sa inyo pong obserbasyon, tumaas po ba ang bilang ng mga pasyenteng humihingi po ng tulong dahil po sa takot o yung pong mga matinding kaba tuwing meron pong disaster o kaya kahit na yung alert lang mismo, yung disaster alert po, or lindol alert?
Ang disaster kasi ay hindi pangkaraniwang event, no? Hindi naman talaga natin inaasahan ang isang disaster na mangyari. So kaakibat nito, pag mayroong disaster, na-anticipate na natin na talaga ang steady increase ng mga simptomas na nauukol tungkol sa response nila doon sa disaster, no. Kaya itong mga nakaraan parang tulad ng ang maganda example diyan, Angelique, is the pandemic, no, the COVID. Talagang tayo ay not taken by surprise. Hindi natin pa alam kung paano gamutin, paano pigilan ng pagkalat, no, at hindi natin alam na fatal pala nung mga una. Kaya we are unprepared during that time, and the loss of lives, loss of job, no, really affected the Filipino people.
So yung stress levels ng mga Pilipino nung pandemic talagang grabe.
First time po natin naka-experience ng quarantine, isolation, lockdowns, no? So hindi tayo sanay dyan. Pati po yung mga estudyante, hindi na nakapasok sa eskwelahan, ano? So first time po tayong naka-experience ng ganyan, at na-feel po natin ng Filipino people na we are not in control about the situation, and that brought about certain anxiety, no, to really be during that time prevalent, and
And I can just imagine, ano po, dahil we were locked down and we were not really allowed to move around too much. So yung mga humihingi o nangangailangan ng mga psychiatric interventions, hindi ho masyadong nabigyan ng tulong?
Nung una, talagang nahirapan, ano, dahil sa wala tayong means, no, na pupuntahan. However, pasalamat sa technology, no, nagkaroon tayo ng mga online consultation, nagkaroon tayo ng mga telepsychiatry, tapos natugunan naman po natin yung unti-unti, dahan-dahan, yung mga pangangailangan nila na it's either medical needs, psychiatric needs, o psychological help, no? Unti-unti naman po natin natugunan.
Okay. Ang mga Pilipino po, may mga nagsasabing, ay, sanay na ako dyan, manhid na ako dyan, lagi naman tayong mesa ko na, ano po, itong mga bagyo, lalo na po yung mga nakatira talaga sa mga flood-prone areas, landslide-prone areas, na lagi po na-evacuate. So in short, kumbaga, sanay na sila. Pero paano po natin masasabing ito senyales ng emotional numbness? Yung para bang wala na silang nararamdaman. O kaya, baka naman burnout na po ang tawag doon.
Yeah. Sikat tayo mga Pilipino dyan, yung ating resilience daw, no? And we usually cope with it through humor, no? Ang daming mga memes sa social media na bahana, nagsiswimming pa, no? So, ang burnout kasi it's a occupational hazard. No, the International Classification of Disease classify it as a occupational phenomenon, no? Due to the prolonged stress, nahihirapan na tayo mag-cope with it. So nabu-burnout tayo, nawawalan tayo ng yung emotional numbness naman ay pwede nating sabihin isang simptomas na yan ng stress level. No? Nagiging manhid na tayo sa tamang realidad na nangyayari. Kung kumbaga may disaster na nangyayari, ang pakiramdam mo ay baliwala yan. No? Nagiging manhid ka na sa mga pwedeng ma-apekto sa iyo yan. So, ito isang simptomas din na talagang meron ng ikaw na nararamdaman na ang anxiety level mo ay it reach a certain point already na ikaw ay manhid na.
So, ano po ang outcome nun? Inaction? Passivity? Ano po?
Maaaring hindi mo po matagunan yung dapat mong gawin in terms of resiliency o in terms of pagbangon, no? Maaaring hindi ka makafocus po na dapat ganito ang gawin mo, yung i-secure mo muna ang shelter, ang food, ang family mo, maaaring hindi mo magampanan yon dahil ikaw sa pakiramdam mo po wala namang problema at ikaw ay numb na sa ganyan, no? O manhid ka na sa ganyan. Kaya kailangan po talagang tugunan yan, mga symptoms na yan.
Ano ho, kung buong pamilya ganun, sino po ang pwedeng magtumulong?
Marami po tayong ahensya ng pamahala na handang-handang tumulong po, no? Even our volunteer civic groups po, no? Like the Red Cross po ay handang-handa pong tugunan ng kanilang pangangailangan.
Okay. Ito nga, no, right after the big earthquakes in Cebu, sa Bogo, tapos sa Mindanao, and yung mga quakes in between pa po, tapos yung pang bulkan pa, parang nag-uusap yata silang lahat. Anyway, ano po yung may papayo po natin sa mga naninirahan, those living in fear, in constant fear, especially because syempre kailangan po i-raise din po yung threat of the big one, dahil sabi nila hinog na raw po yung fault at maaring gumalaw around this time. So, how do we comfort, let's say, the younger ones, the children, even parents who are also in distress because they worry about the big one?
Yeah, it's nabanggit mo, Angelique, kanina yung anticipatory anxiety. Well, it's a living in constant fear because of something, no? And ang ano po niyan is if we should be preparing for it, no? Number one, we should be well informed about it, no? Saan po tayo pupunta, sino po ang hihinga natin ng tulong. This past few weeks, dahil po nga sa lindol, nagbigay po sila ng advisory about preparing your go bags, no?
Yes.
Putting essentials there, no? Hindi po natin pwedeng tanggalin yung fear, no? Because baka may mangyari talaga, no? It's our preparation now that will shield us from further anxiety, no? Kahit alam natin na mayroong malaking earthquake, kung alam natin na tayo ay prepared to tackle it at to overcome it, no? Then it will give us some sense of security.
So it's important that families, even offices, ay meron talagang ginagawang mga bagay to prepare for it. And at the same time, mababawasan po yung stress levels nila because you know na meron kang ginawa.
You already did something. No, you participated in drills. You participated in. You already know how to shield yourself from earthquakes. No, ganun po.
But not to the point of living talaga in fear na ayaw mo nang lumabas ng bahay or gusto mo lumipat din ng bahay.
That's irrational already, no? And it can be, well, meron tayong mga intervention din dyan. If it reached that certain level of fear.
Okay, ang isa pa hong bagay na gusto nating malaman, ito yung mga tinatawag na mga nag-a-attend sa mga disaster survivors. Paano po natin kaya may iwasan yung compassion fatigue? Yung bang napagod na po ang mga caregivers or yung mga frontliners na unang nagbibigay ng attention po sa mga nasa mga evacuation centers. Paano rin po matutulungan yung mga post-traumatic stress natin?
Well, hats off tayo sa mga volunteer work, sa ating mga civic society na tumutulong, no? They are, sabi nga natin, there are two types of victims, the direct victims and the indirect victims, no? Meron pa tayong hidden victims. Yung hidden victims, these are the workers, no? The caregivers, the nurses, the social workers, the soldiers, the police, no? The military, who was the first line. Sila ang unang pinapupunta doon sa disaster area to help, no? To help secure the people, no? So, sila din po ay nakakaranas ng tulad nga po ng nabanggit nyo, compassion fatigue. Ang compassion fatigue ay parang nawawalan ka na ng gana na tumulong sa iba dahil po paulit-ulit ang mga experiences mo na trauma na nakukuha mo dahil sa mga taong suffering, no? Those people who are suffering. No, we can alleviate some by talagang kung ang trabaho po ninyo ay 8 to 5, stick to 8 to 5, huwag na kayo mag-overtime, set your boundaries, no? Know your role, limitation, no? Huwag na kayo mag-over over sa function nyo bilang and mahirap gawin, madaling sabihin na huwag mong i-personalize yung mga naririnig mong problema, pero as human beings, nag-empathize po talaga tayo at nagsisympathize, no? So, know your limits po and have a peer time spent with your teammates to discuss what you have experienced para ma-process din po yun.
So, para may debriefing.
May debriefing, opo.
Yes.
Para ma-process at hindi manatili sa kalooban mo.
Ayun, maganda po yun, na after so many days, meron pong time na people are able to talk and just air their feelings.
Kasi po talagang very emotionally taxing na makinig sa suffering ng ibang people.
Yes, opo. Okay, sandali lang, Doc, ha? Huwag po kayo nga alis sa ating pong mga kababayang nanonood ngayon dahil sa ating pagbabalik, pag-uusapan po natin ang mental health ng mga kabataan. At yun din po mga biktima ng sakuna. Dito pa rin po sa ating programang In Person.
Hello watchers! Welcome to our second episode. Silipin natin ang yaman at kasaysayan ng amang lugar na ito.
Sabay-sabay nating lalakbayan.
Ako po si Gabriel Lopez. Samahan niyo ako ma-inspire sa kwento ng Bay, kwento ng bayan. Dito sa Philippine Baywatch.
Nagbabalik ang In Person. Kasama natin ngayong gabi si Dr. Noel Reyes mula sa National Center for Mental Health. Okay, Doc, how do we distinguish between normal grief or sadness and signs of clinical depression or even suicidal ideation? Ayan, maganda po ipaliwanag natin yan sa ating mga kababayan. Paano po ba natin masasabi na ang na itutuloy ng isang tao rin ang suicide? Okay, medyo maraming elements ng tanong ko. Okay.
Yeah, ang normal grief ay katulad nga ng katagang normal, no? Dapat itong pagdaanan talaga ng isang tao kung meron siyang na-experience na loss, no? Pagdadalamhati, no? Usually yan sa amin 6 months ang binibigay namin, no? It's a natural thing, no? Natural and necessary thing.
Especially when people pass away. mga
People
ganun.
pass away, talagang kailangan. Kaya sa Filipino culture may lamay, no? And may babang luksa. So these are all steps na to ease the loss, no? So that the person now can cope with the loss and start anew, no? Pag sinabi naman natin na clinical depression, ito ay karamdaman na sa pag-iisip na nagdudulot ng kalungkutan, no, loss of interest, yung mga dating enjoyable sa iyo hindi mo na ayaw mo nang gawin, no, sadness, no, hindi ka makatulog, hindi ka makakain, no, tapos ang depressed mood almost last the whole day, no. For that, meron ka din suicidal ideation o suicidal thoughts na sa tingin mo, mas mabuti pang mawala kaysa manatiling buhay sa mundo dahil yung realidad mo sa mundo ay masakit, no? Dahil painful. Nawawalan ka ng pag-asa, hopelessness, nawawalan ka ng kwenta, worthlessness, and of course, ang feeling mo wala na makakatulong sa'yo or helplessness. No? Yan ang tinatawag nating major depression or clinical depression already.
Okay, kanina sabi niyo mga hindi nakakatulog. Yung iba naman, tulog din ng tulog. Ayaw namang nang gumising.
Missing.
Parang wala naman ho kasi siyang gagawin.
Kasama sa ano yun yung loss of interest and isolation. Magkukulong na lang sa kwarto. Pero sa examinasyon, sa evaluation, malalaman mo din na yung sinasabi nilang nakakatulog sila ay hindi naman sila nakakatulog. Nakahiga lang. No?
At nag-iisip.
Nag-iisip, oo.
Alam niyo yung binabalik-balikan. Dapat ginawa ko to. Yung sa mga taong kuminsan feeling na baka meron silang role sa pagkamatay ng isang tao or they could have prevented something. Babalik at pabalikan nila. Parang tape recorder na paulit-ulit.
It's coping up with some form of guilt dahil have I done enough for this person? Ano? Common din po na tanong yan. Ano? Lalo-lalo na kung sudden at hindi natin inaasahan yung nangyari.
Okay, meron ba kayong napapansin sa monitoring po ng National Center tungkol po sa trend o pagdami ng mga, let's say, cases of depression or even cases of suicide attempts, especially doon muna tayo sa context po ng mga disasters pagkatapos ng isang sakuna or disaster?
Angelique, sa pangkalahatan, globally, we are seeing an increase in trend. So, may disaster man o wala. It's environmental, it's the situation, whether it's economic or relationship. No? Sa pangkalahatan, depression is increasing in terms of incidence. No? Probably yung sign of the times na pinapalo natin yun, na tinitira natin ngayon na sometimes the people cannot cope with the additional stress in life. Traffic, for example, ang daming mga causes. Those living in armed conflict areas, they are forever threatened. Those living under the poverty line, those who are uneducated. So parang hindi sila nakakuha ng certain naturalesa to combat the depression.
Yes, opo. Ano ba yung mga psychosocial interventions na maaring ibigay o available ngayon galing din po sa ating pamahalaan, sa mga agencies tulad po ng inyong center, para sa mga survivors na dun pa rin muna tayo sa mga disasters.
The gold standard of psychosocial intervention is tinatawag nating psychological first aid. po, parang binibigyan natin sila ng kakayanan na to cope with yung nanarasan nila. No? Then we have the debriefing process, the critical incident stress debriefing, yung tinatawag natin CISD. Ang National Center for Mental Health po ay isang institusyon na nagpo-provide ng training, no, and capacitation sa mga volunteers, pati sa other government agencies, no, like this, para lang po matugunan yung demand na tayo ay makatulong sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino during the time of disasters.
Kasi nga po ang DSWD meron pong ginagawang psychosocial intervention. No? So sila po ay natinetrain din po ng National Center for
Meron po
Mental
silang sariling training at meron din po kami na ang tawag po doon para bang nagko-collaborate po in times of disaster. We are both being called upon to really help. No?
Yes, opo. Paano po ginagampanan ng National Center for Mental Health ang papel nito sa mga community-based mental health responses? Siyempre kasama na po dyan yung barangay, pati DOH din po at DSWD.
Malaki po ang linkages namin ng LGU, no, at mga ang National Center for Mental Health po ay nagpo-provide ng training sa mga barangay healthcare workers, pati po sa mga volunteer work ng LGU. Kasi po sa community, nais natin palawigin talaga ang community mental health, no.
Yes.
It's a shift po from hindi lang naman po tayo dapat maging confinement, admission, no, kundi meron din tayong preventive promotive aspect, no, yung mga advocacy natin. And we are trying to promote that, no, yung mga wellness clinics, wellness program, no, in order for us to prevent, no, we're making ourselves visible in schools, in the workplaces po. We're trying to help other facility to establish their own wellness center, there's safe rooms, no, there's safe spaces, no, para the employees know where to go kung sakaling a space or a room that they will not feel discriminated, no, walang harassment,
no judgment.
So these are all wellness program, no, it promotes a certain level of wellness. At pag well po tayo, no, sabi nga nila ang definition ng mental health it's not just purely absence of psychiatric illness, no, but it is a combination of whether you can contribute to your community, you know your purpose, no. So malaki po ang definition talaga ng isang individual being mentally healthy.
Po kasi madalas talaga pinapansin lang natin, masakit ang tuhod ko, o meron akong sakit sa puso, sa our organs, no? But the brain is also an organ, and we tend to, di ba, not give it too much attention.
Sabi nga po, there is no health without mental health.
Yes, opo. Ano po maaring gawin ng mga pamilya? What can families do kapag napansin na po nila na tila nawawalan na ng pag-asa o kaya gana sa buhay?
Well, you know that the family po is the basic unit, and that's where the support comes from, no? Open po ang National Center for Mental Health, no, in terms of consultation. They have to seek professional help if the level of the depression already reaches clinical or a diagnosable depression, no. So bukas po talaga ang NCMH, no, whether it's an outpatient, whether it's in the emergency room, whether it's the 24/7 crisis hotline that they can call, no. The services that is going to be provided is there for free, no, and every day, every hour, every minute.
So bukod nga po sa mga disasters, marami pong mga personal reasons din kung bakit po nagkakaroon ng depression at anxiety ang tao. Sa Pilipinas po, ano po yung mga nakita niyong factors na nagiging sanhi ng mga psychological stresses kagaya nito?
Nabanggit ko po yung mga condition natin, no, sa Pilipinas.
And all that, no?
Opo. If I'm going to base it on the data by the 24/7 crisis hotline of the National Center for Mental Health, the top 10 reasons of calling, no, number 1 po yung, of course, love, relationship problems, academic problem.
Yung heartache, no?
Heartache,
broken heart.
Broken heart. Madalas po kasi sa Filipino na we very much want to belong. Yung belongingness issue natin na.
Okay.
And when we get frustrated and disappointed, we tend to blame ourselves being and it's a blow to our self-esteem. So bumababa po ang tingin natin sa sarili. At in the long run, it turns to a major depressive episode already. So yun po yung some of the factors. And one good thing is that one of the top 10 reasons for calling the 24/7 is asking for referral. So may alam na po, they're aware of what they're going through, and
Seeking intervention
seeking
po,
intervention, yeah.
for professional help.
They're already aware that there's a professional that they can go to, that they can seek help.
Paano po pinagsisikapan din ng National Center for Mental Health na maiwasan po yung stigma sa mental health awareness and mental health diagnosis sa bansa? Kasi alam nyo, in the past, and talagang families are very ashamed or embarrassed na mapag-usapan yung kondisyon ng, let's say, miyembro ng pamilya nila. Nakakahiya! Di ba? Papa-check up ka sa isang psychiatrist na sasabihin ng mga kapitbahay natin, ng mga kaklase ko. Ngayon, ano na po yung status ng, yung pong stigma na yan?
Ongoing po ang destigmatization natin ng mental illness. One good thing is that the mental health literacy of our children or our youth is steadily increasing. So alam na po nila ang simptomas, alam nila kung saan sila hihingi ng tulong, alam nila ang diagnosis. So unti-unti po namumulat na this is something that is quite serious kung mapapayaan. And of course, with the help of the social media, ang precautionary advice ko lang po is that marami po kasi sa online ngayon yung mga self-tests. If you are depressed, you answer this. If you score 4 out of it, you are depressed. But these are not standardized tests.
Yes.
And the person
it could be misleading, diba?
Misleading, and then sometimes can bring about more depression. So consult a professional po. We are there naman. Wala pong bayad ang National Center for Mental Health.
So more people are nagiging mas less yung stigma, more open for professional help. And pati yung mga taong pag nalaman nila, more understanding na po ba ang mga Pinoy ngayon?
Yes po. The parents now are quite aware of it, and school officials are not aware of it. Pati nga po ang ating mga legislators ay very open na, and they wanted to make some laws to enhance the assistance and the provision of services to these people.
Maaari po kayo magbigay ng ilang pang konsiderasyon o mga initiatives na maaring gawin ng isang individual o ng komunidad sa mental health issue sa bansa?
Palawakin lang po natin yung mga dandyan na po ang mga program ng Department of Health in terms of mental health. Sabi nga po ng aming butihing Secretary Ted Herbosa, kami po ay number 6 sa 8-point agenda, kaginawaan sa pag-iisip. So he made it a priority really to enhance the mental health programs and literacy of our people. So sa mga komunidad, we're continually training the barangay healthcare workers in terms of preventive promotive programs for mental health. Makilahok po kayo at makialam, at para makapagbigay po tayo ng tamang serbisyo sa ating mga kabayan.
Okay, sandali pa, Doc, ha? At marami pa tayong pag-uusapan, lalo na po tungkol sa kalusugang pangkaisipan ng mga kabataan na exposed sa iba't ibang klaseng bullying. Merong person-to-person bullying, merong cyberbullying, meron yung role din po ng social media sa pagbabalik ng in-person.
Disaster Watch. Alamin ang mga dapat ilagay sa go bag bilang paghahanda sa anumang sakuna. Maglagay ng tubig na maiinom at mga pagkaing hindi madaling masira. Maglaan ng espasyo para sa first aid kit at survival kit para sa mga hindi inaasahang pangyayari. Huwag kalimutan ang toiletries para mapanatili ang kalinisan sa katawan. Samahan din ang mga damit at beddings na magtatagal ng ilang araw. At para ligtas at may alam, magdala ng personal protective equipment at mga teknikal na gamit. Sa panahon ng kalamidad, dapat laging listo.
Nagbabalik po ang in-person. Kasama pa rin natin ngayong gabi ang Medical Chief ng National Center for Mental Health, si Dr. Noel Reyes. Okay, so Doc, we were talking about yung monitoring around the world, ano, na talagang alarming na pa yung pagtaas ng mental health issues among the youth, especially post-pandemic. How do the youth continue to live in constant fear of uncertainty? Or plus kanina, I mentioned, because of the fear of being bullied or actually being bullied, whether in person or cyber bullied.
Yeah. If we're going to compare our childhood to them, parang sinasabi natin na mas marami silang stress in life, no? Maybe we can explain it to a generational thing. The way they were reared, or the way they were brought up, no, maaring it's not their fault, no, it's not their fault. It's that the parents during the time of their, childhood, that causes certain coping mechanism na hindi healthy o kaya hindi sila nakadevelop ng tamang coping mechanism, no. Yeah, tama po, Angelique, no, that post-pandemic, no, pre-pandemic, probably the 24/7 crisis hotline of the National Center for Mental Health receives around, on a monthly basis, 400 calls, no. But during and post-pandemic, it quadrupled, no. Naging around 1,200 or 16,200 calls, no. And what's alarming is that pre-pandemic, 10% of the callers have suicide-related calls. During pandemic and post-pandemic, it rose to 35% of the number of calls are suicide-related.
Wow.
No, and what's even more alarming is that the callers are getting younger. Before it's 18 to 30, now we are now including 12 to 18 having suicide-related calls, no, which is quite surprising and quite alarming also, no. So we have to really monitor what's happening in the school. Tama po kayo, no. Dati walang cyberbullying, dati walang masyadong bullying, no. But right now, our children are experiencing it, no. And probably there are enough laws, no, and legislation na nandyan. Anti-Bullying Act, no, yung mga Safe Space Act, no. So probably what we could do is really implement these laws and have stricter policy, no, per institution, that it is not allowed, that it's not accepted to have in every school, that to have bullying as there.
Okay, paki-explain din po itong tinatawag na emotional burnout. Kanina po yung burnout sa trabaho, no? Meron palang emotional burnout? O ito pong off the air din, we were talking about different forms of depression. Ano yung silent depression naman din sa mga kabataan?
Yeah, emotional burnout or silent depression, no? These are both the patient, yung nakakaramdam, at saka yung taong nakapaligid sa kanya, maaaring hindi alam na depressed siya, no? ikaw din, hindi mo alam na depressed ka. Because you still are functioning, no? Nakakapasok ka pa sa trabaho, nakaka-attend ka pa ng school, you're successful, you're earning a lot, no? So, and yet, deep down inside, no, you feel lonely, you feel isolated, no, you have no one to celebrate your successes with, no. So yan po yung sinasabi nilang silent depression, or sabi nga nila, ang tawag dyan ay smiling depression, no.
You smile through
you smile through your depression, and deep down that smile means you're sad, no. So ano na yun. All right.
If you remember, no, the late Robin Williams, na isa pong komedyante na talagang he was constantly making people laugh, di ba?
Napakarami pong example during the past few years, no. Kate Spade, very successful.
Yes, that's right.
Si yung chef,
Yung chef, no,
si Bourdain,
Yes,
no,
yes, that's
si
right.
Robin Williams, no. They are, when you see them on screen and kahit in person, you won't notice anything, and you won't say na this person is depressed, no. And yet they surrendered and they commit suicide, no.
Is it the same as functioning depression? Meron din bang ganun po?
Pwede po, no. They can be functioning depression, but deep inside, once they commit the suicide attempt po, it's really clinical depression level already.
Paano po nakikita o paano niyo po nakikita ang papel din ng pamilya, ng paaralan, ng community sa pagbibigay po ng early emotional support sa mga kabataan? Kasi may mga magulang, they will say, hindi naman ako ganyan dati. Snap out of it. Huwag ka nang ganyan. Di ba?
Malaki po ang piniplay ng role ng family. Sabi nga po natin, family is the basic unit, and dyan po nag-originate ang support. No? Pagdating po sa mga eskwelahan, 1/3 of the time of the youth is spent on schools, in schools,
right.
no? In schools. So dapat po talaga they're the ones cultivating, no, that environment of support, no. Ang nakakabahala po kasi is that since may generation gap between parents and the children, no?
Yes.
Totoo po yung sinasabi ninyo na nung bata ako, hindi ako ganyan. Nung bata ako, mas matindi pa kami. Hindi ba? What it means to the child is it nullifies their feelings.
Nababaliwala.
Nababaliwala. So,
Mas nakakasama yun.
mas nakakasama. Kasi even my parents don't understand me.
Oo. Who will understand?
Even the basic unit of support doesn't understand me. So I think it's a awakening call, no, wake up call to the parents also that to be really pay attention to the feelings of the children and seek help, no. Sila na rin po ang magsama o mag-initiate ng intervention.
Opo, meron po bang programa ang NCMH para sa mga parents, no? Makatulong din sa psychological first aid o mental health literacy din po nila, at pati po sa mga guro?
Napakarami po, no. Ang National Center for Mental Health po ay nakikipag-collaborate sa mga other agency in terms of providing mental health caravans in school. Kasama na po ang PTA dyan na mag-involve. So to better equip the parents, no, some knowledge on how to go about and addressing the issues of their children, no, and adolescent. Sabi nga po natin, talagang may generational gap, and sometimes hindi natin maintindihan what the child is going through. So kung ganun po, mas maganda humingi na ng third party o isang professional help to help you, no, guide you in helping, no.
Kasama ba dyan sa guide na yan kung ano yung mga telltale signs po ng potential suicide person or case, ano?
So, lahat po yan.
Like what do you have to watch out for? Pag sinabi po ng isang tao na, ay nako, magpapakamatay na ako. Tapos hindi naman niya syempre ginagawa. Tapos eventually nadidesensitize po yung mga nasa paligid na naririnig. Then they don't believe anymore. And then nagawin na niya talaga, tinuloy na niya. So ano po ang dapat natin bantayan?
Hindi po talaga dapat na tanggapin as biro, no? Pag may narinig po kayong ganyan, it's a reportable, no? Lalo-lalo na po sa kung kapamilya ninyo. You have to be very aware of it, no? Hindi po magbabanggit ng salita yan kung ano, whether it's an attention-getting remark, pero ganun din po ang ano nun, no? Why is this person trying to get my attention? No, dapat ganun din po ang tugon natin. Well, some of the telltale signs, of course, pag nakikita mo na they withdrew, they isolate themselves, no? May mga sulat-sulat ng letters, no? May mga nagpapaalam, no? May wala naman siyang sa mga kalalakihan, wala naman siyang mga deadly weapons, biglang bumibili ng kung ano-ano, no? Or naghahanap ng other means, no? Kaya sa amin po talagang very necessary, no? If we have a suicidal patient, we really interview them, no? We really gauge the lethality of the suicide thought, no? No, tinatanong namin ng timing, tinatanong namin ng method, tinatanong namin kasi we can now gauge the lethality, no?
At yung iba po, they post it. They will say something na pag nawala na ako, pagmahalan kayo. Mga ganon.
Para nagbibilin po, no?
Opo.
And of course, social media is not that helpful, no? If you could remember, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago that a very popular band member Facebook Live his suicide attempt by jumping, no? So napapanood po ng ating kabataan, and being popular, being famous, parang may i-emulate mo pa. So it does not help, no? And that the parents should be aware of this and monitor and guide the children accordingly.
Opo. Bukod po sa depression and suicidal tendencies, isa pa rin pong observation natin, and tell us if it's really on the rise, ito po mga bipolar cases. Why is that so?
Kaakibat po kasi ng spectrum ng mood disorders, no? Ang among psychiatric disorders, sila po yung isang aspect o ng tinatawag nating mood disorder, whether it's major depression or bipolar mood, no? With the recent development, talaga pong steady increase, no? Tulad po na sinasabi natin na there's a rise in psychiatric
What causes bipolarism po?
the same po. The same. If we're going to talk about etiology or causation, no? It can be genetic or hereditary. It can be psychosocial o yung mga na-receive nilang trauma early in life, o kahit nung nasa sinapupunan pa sila, meron ng insult.
To the child,
so meron po
child.
yan, maraming factors. But
Chemical imbalance din po.
yeah, it is the neurotransmitters in the brain have gone array, or meron pong imbalance na nangyayari. And that's the reason why some of the medications now are very efficacious, that because we are now able to pinpoint which neurotransmitter to regulate.
Okay. At marami pa po tayong nais malaman sa inyo. Doc, ha? Huwag po kayong mawawala at magbabalik pa rin ang In Person.
Sa aming pagtataguyod ng mga makabatang programang pang-telebisyon, malugod naming ikinararangal ang mga bagong pagkilala mula sa National Council for Children's Television. Tinanghal bilang child-friendly television program ang It's Fun, Artsy Craftsy, Schoolmates, at ginawaran bilang child-friendly broadcast television network ang inyong People's Television. Maraming salamat po at patuloy kaming magbibigay inspirasyon, kaalaman at kasiyahan para sa batang Pilipino.
Okay, at nasa nasa huling bahagi na po tayo ng ating programa ngayong gabi with our very interesting topic and actually very timely and important. Ito nga po tungkol sa mental health. Kapiling pa rin po natin si Dr. Noel Reyes ng National Center for Mental Health. Doc Reyes, gusto ko lang po mag-rewind ng konti about like sometimes how parents raise their children na madalas kasi gusto rin, ayaw din ng mga magulang na maranasan nila yung mga paghihirap, mga dinaanan nila noon. So, they're very indulging, no? Talagang binibigay nila lahat. The problem there is, baka hindi nakadevelop ng yung bata ng, ng frustration na hindi siya hinindian. The parents never said no, laging yes, sige, bigay. So finally, pag merong dumating na punto sa buhay niya na medyo ma-challenge sa kanya, na sinasabing hindi pwede, baka marupok, or kulang sa mechanism?
Yeah, they lack the certain attitude and coping mechanism to deal with disappointment. No? Tama ka, Angelique. Especially during the time of baby boomers to millennials, the baby boomers promised themselves that if I have children, I won't let them experience the hardship. Ang nangyari is overprotectiveness, talagang na-secure, anxious parents, na naglalakad lang sa hagdanan yung anak, pipigilan na kasi baka malaglag. So overprotective and overgratified. In so doing, the child was not able to develop certain attitude to combat any disappointment and frustration in life. And that's not the real situation. When she grows up, or when he grows up, alam niya na maraming frustration and disappointment that will come his or her way, and how to deal with it, medyo lacking sila in that. So they tend to be prone to depression, and some also raise their children as perfectionists. Kailangan mataas ang grade mo, dapat ganito ka, ganyan ka. So pagka hindi natugunan ng anak, sila ang sumusugod sa eskwelahan, kinakausap ang Pero in real life, hindi ka na, pag nagtatrabaho na yung bata, hindi naman pwedeng sumugod yung magulang sa pinagtatrabuhan at sa boss. No one to protect him. So talagang ganun ang life, and that we should now inculcate to our children, that it's not all beautiful, and there's going to be problems and stress, disappointment, frustration, and you have to deal with it on your own, sometimes on your own, or if you wish to be helped by us, be guided by the parents, then we are more than willing to guide you.
So i-equip sa mga iba't ibang situation na sa tunay na buhay. Okay. Well, Doc, this is so very interesting. Pero were you always into like analyzing people's minds? What led you? Ano po yung nag-inspire sa inyo para tahakin ang larangan na ito ng mental health, maging isang psychiatrist at maglingkod din po sa ating pamahalaan?
On a personal level, it started during med school, and then when I was an intern at a government institution, I came across psychiatric patients, and the diversity, the difference, in terms of symptoms, really led me to question why is this so, and so that tickled my interest, and I went into psychiatry. During the ER duty, I came across a 45-year-old male, nasunugan ng bahay, namatay ng asawa, and he came in with, hindi ako makatulog, Doc. So, and then here comes a 17, 18-year-old boy, tumatakbong hubot-hubad sa kalye, nagsisigaw, nangahabol ng patalim. And the stressor is bumaksak sa exam. So, a very little stressor, very
extreme
yung symptoms. Yung isa naman sobrang dagok sa buhay, and yet ito lang ang symptom. So that led me to some interest, and I really wanted to during that time, no, find out answers, no.
Okay, so sa tagal niyo po sa National Center for Mental Health, ano po yung mga nakita niyo malaking mga pagbabago o nasaksihan, ano po? Una sa intervention. Because in the past, I would recall, naku, kinukuryente nila yung mga siraulo dyan. Alam niyo, ang sakit, di ba? Tawagin natin ang ating kapwa na siraulo. But that's been part of our language. No? Na ganun ang tingin natin sa mga may problema sa pag-iisip.
Nung napag-usapan nga po natin ang stigma sa Philippines po kasi bago natin i-destigmatize, i-demystify muna natin yung mental illness. Kailangan sabihin muna natin sa kanila na, hindi dahil bilog ang buwan, hindi dahil natulog ka ng basa ang buhok, hindi dahil naligo ka during your period, no? So, demystify muna natin bago natin sabihin na ito'y karamdaman because yung mga neurotransmitters daw na na-receive mo trauma in life, no? Bago natin ma-explain at ma-destigmatize, no? So, yan po yung mga pagbabago na nasa National Center for Mental Health. Nasa kalagitnaan po kami ng transition na hindi lang po kami confinement, admission, no? Kung hindi, meron din po kami mga programa para sa prevention, promotive aspect, no? At mas malawak na po ang nare-reach ng National Center for Mental Health. Parang nag-form na po kami ng mga linkages and collaboration para matugunan po yung pangangailangan, pangkaisipan ng mga Pilipino, no? May MRI na po ang National Center for Mental Health kasi may CT scan na. Alam po namin kasi na porket may sakit kang depression, hindi ka na ba magkaka-pneumonia? No? So, ang approach po natin ay nagiging holistic na, pangkalahatan na, so that we can target everything that is wrong. No?
Opo, pero yung nga dati daw nangunguryente po sa loob. Bakit may ganon? Sorry.
Okay. Yung sinasabi nilang kuryente, it's electroconvulsive therapy, ECT. No?
Okay. Does that work?
It's a mainstay of treatment in terms of severe depression.
I see.
So if nagto-talk therapy na po tayo, binibigyan na po kita ng gamot, at yung level of depression mo ay hindi bumababa, no? It's a mainstay of treatment, the electroconvulsive therapy. Right now po, dati, wala pang anesthesia, kaya very shocking na makita nyo, no? But it's a relatively safe procedure.
And painless na?
We can call it painless, no? Kasi meron naman pong mga support. Ang problema po noon is merong konting side effect na amnesia, may konting, so of course you're convulsing, meron kang konting prone to fractures, no? But right now the electroconvulsive therapy is being given on a modified basis, meaning the patient is anesthetized, tulog po, no? And then binibigyan po siya ng enough current na makaka-apekto do sa mga neurotransmitter to normalize, no?
And gumagaling po.
Yes po. Marami pong success stories dyan sa ECT. And magugulat po kayo, may mga pasyente po na pumupunta sa NCMH para magpakuryente.
Ganon. Of course, only if you recommend it.
Only if it is indicated and recommended po. Kasi sometimes it's of course nasa treatment guidelines naman po yan.
Paano niyo po nakikita ang kinabukasan ng mental health system sa bansa at yung mga interventions pa na ginagawa po ng NCMH at pati po yung mga doktor na pumapasok po sa larangang ito?
Yeah. Sa ngayon po, solutions have been initialized naman po, no? Para matugunan. Tama po kayo, no? Ang latest na datos po 0.6 psychiatrists per 100,000 population.
Oh my goodness. Wala pa lang one.
Wala pa pong one.
Oh
no?
my goodness.
So, unti-unti po natin tinutugunan yan, no? Representations from colleges, med school, no? Na after graduation, they go into psychiatric residency training, no? Or some aspeto naman po ng mga intervention ng psychiatrist need not to be a doctor. So, tinetrain po natin ang mga psychologists, mga nurse, social workers to provide the necessary intervention at their level.
Yes,
No,
opo. And please, demystify na sinasabi nila pag matagal ka na daw nagtatrabaho na doktor o nurse sa loob ng National Center, magiging mental case ka na rin daw po.
Actually, na early on my practice, narinig ko na po yan. And ang tugon po natin dyan kung nakakahawa man ang mental illness, sana kami ang makahawa ng normalcy sa pasyente.
Sana nga po,
O nga po pala, pagka ang nakakaramdam kayo ng problema at tinype nyo sa Google ang suicide, lalabas po ang number ng National Center for Mental Health 24/7 Crisis Hotline.
So with that, nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyo sa oras na binigay niyo sa amin. Truly learned a lot about mental health and how to care for each other na may mga pinagdadaanan. Mula po sa National Center for Mental Health, ang Medical Chief, si Dr. Noel Reyes. Muli, maraming salamat po, Dr. Reyes. Mental health is a human right. In times of tragedy, it is our inner strength, compassion, and connection that keep us whole. Let us remember, asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it is an act of courage. At yan po ang tunay na mukha sa likod ng mga balita at mga isyong pinag-uusapan. Matapang na humarap at nagpakilala. Ako po si Angelique Lazo at ito ang In Person.